State? Yeah. Is it anything specific or?
I'm running the Manchester 10K. I ran it last year when I was injured.
Okay.
So I need to be in the right frame of mind, and I need to get my thought process in the right way to sort of be happy about running, I think.
Okay. So you've run this Manchester 10K before?
Yeah, I ran the half marathon last year, but I've been injured ever since.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm just back running, but I'm not feeling the love as I should do.
Okay.
And I think I go out running worried that I'm going to get injured again.
So you're running the Manchester 10K?
Yeah.
That's the objective. Last year you ran the half marathon?
Yeah.
What was the half marathon?
That was the Great North Run.
Oh, okay, so you did the Great North Run. Okay. And prior to doing the half marathon, how did you feel?
I felt pretty good because because of my previous injury at the previous Manchester 10K, I took time off and I was building my distance up. When I go out running, I do find it tough to run, whereas I used to enjoy it before.
Okay, yeah. At this moment in time, you find it difficult to run?
Yeah.
In what way do you find it difficult to run?
I don't know. I find that I don't feel as strong as I did do last year. I feel that I go out for running, my legs are sort of aching, and I get out of breath easier. And I think I shouldn't be, because it was only a few months ago that I ran last time, and I was running distances.
Okay. Okay. And in your own mind, you're finding it more difficult this year, the training more difficult. And how do you want to find the training? How do you actually want to find?
I want to feel that I'm enjoying it. I want to go out for that run and come back and think, yeah, I managed to do that, and it was really good, and get that bit faster like I had done last year. At the moment, I feel like I'm back at starting block and I'm going quite slow.
Okay. Is there a time you felt really positive about running? Is there a time you felt really?
Probably just before the Great North Run.
Before the Great North Run. How did that feel?
I felt like I was achieving something.
When you were going out for these runs?
Yeah. I was losing weight, which was my primary goal when I started running.
Okay.
And just being able to go out on a long run on a Saturday morning in nice areas made me feel just quite a sense of achievement.
Yeah. And you don't get the same sense of achievement now?
No, because I'm doing shorter runs and I'm not feeling it the same.
Okay. And you'd like to get that sense of achievement back again? Okay, so we'll develop an anchor. We'll work on an anchor. So when would you see yourself using the anchor? When do you think would be the time to press?
I guess to me it'd be the point in the middle of a run when I really feel I've had enough of this and I want to stop and walk.
Okay.
I want something that would push me to carry on.
And get through the run.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think once I get past them zones, that will build me up to be able to keep me the momentum going, ready for the run.
Okay, brilliant.
Well, I guess it's in any run when I feel like I want to stop.
Okay. When you're running and you feel like wanting to stop. Okay. And now we want to explore the mental state, the appropriate resource to fire at that time. What would be the appropriate mental state that you could use when you go into that run, you feel like you're going to stop? What would be the appropriate resource in your mind? What would be the right state of mind at that point?
I guess it's an I can do it kind of attitude, because at the moment I guess my brain's saying, oh, I can't do this.
Okay. And how would you describe that I can do? How would you feel? What would you think? What would you experience?
I would feel like I had energy and strength.
Yeah.
Willpower.
Yeah. You'll see there's an apprehension for me to put words in Nina's mind. I'm extracting and eliciting what's right for Nina in that situation. There's an apprehension for me to go in and base it on my experience. Because my experience is unique to me, and other people I work with, their experience is unique to them. So the important thing is to elicit from their reality. What do they think is right for them in that situation? What's the event? It could be a run, it could be a presentation, it could be a meeting, it could be anything. The more specific you are about the event, the better. What time is it? Where is it? Who's going to be there? The more you can create a scenario. If you're working with someone that's not specific, it's more generalistic, then that's fine as well. They might just say, okay, throughout the day, there's certain points of the day where I don't feel on top of my game, and I could do with a bit of a boost, then that's fine as well. Identify the situation or the time that you want to fire the anchor, which is really important. And identify the resources, the mental resources that are required in that situation that are appropriate to that individual, group of individuals to succeed.
Can I add to that? I'm just wondering whether belief that I'm running correctly, because I think my problems have been that I think I'm running off kilter, but I think the more I actually think when I feel I might be running off kilter, I probably do more,
Yeah.
and that's probably where I get injured.
Yeah. The only thing with that, I mentioned earlier about the competence and confidence scenario, the belief that you're running, what would make you believe that you're running well?
It's holding myself up. I think if I actually put myself into the strength of standing up correctly and focusing on being straight, then that would.
And then you believe that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's important that you clarify, because someone talks about belief, ask them what would make them believe. Nina could have said a number of things there. She could have said, okay, a professional runner watching me and telling me I'm doing it well. She might have said, okay, it might have been the opinion of somebody else. It might be her own feelings that she mentioned there. And that's really important, see, because there is that fine line between confidence and competence. It's no good me saying, yes, you're running well, you've done it before. I don't know. I don't know if you're running well. I haven't seen you run. And also, the technique that we sort of gauge running is all variable for everybody.
Yeah.
Some of the best runners in the world have been very unconventional. I would say the best runners in the world aren't textbook runners.
I think
they find their own way to get through.
I think for me it's that when I go out for a run, I mean I can have moments when I'm enjoying it and,
Yeah.
I run taller because I'm focusing on getting my posture correct.
Okay.
But I think when I'm struggling, when I get to this point, I probably get to be huddled up and going, oh, this is so hard work.
Yeah. So focusing on your posture when you fire that anchor.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's different to belief.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to facilitate and clarify. If we don't clarify and we jump in, then we lose the whole opportunity to set the right state of mind. So we've got that, and we've got the awareness. What I would say is ask the person if there's a time they've experienced that in the past. If you've experienced something before, you can experience it again. Now, it's important that we clarify with the person if there is a time. If there isn't a time they've experienced that, ask them if they've experienced something similar. Ideally, in the ideal world, they've experienced the same resource, doing the same process. Ideal situation. If there isn't a time, then look at other areas of their life. Example, confidence. Someone might say, I don't feel confident delivering my presentation. Have you been confident delivering a presentation in the past? I haven't. Then you might say, are you confident doing something else? Yes, I am, going for meetings. Can you transfer that across to what you're doing? So it's possible you do that. It's also possible you say the scenario, the person says, I want to be confident delivering a presentation. Have you been confident before delivering a presentation? You might say, well, what's confidence to you? In their world, in their reality. And is that the resource that you need? So really bring clarity. If you work with the person and you ask them what resource they need, and they say they want confidence delivering a presentation, for example, and the person says, you ask them, have you been confident before delivering a presentation? They say, not really. And you ask them, well, what does confidence mean to you? And there's no clarity there. Then you could ask them, someone who is confident doing a presentation, what do they think, see, hear and feel? And elicit that. We've got that and we've agreed to that, and Nina's very clear about what she wants to be in her mind. And You talked about experiencing that before in our pre-talk, in that run. You mentioned the prior to the Great North Run. We can go back to that time and relive the situation and experience all those feelings. Now, what I will do before we choose to anchor it and choose how we'll anchor it, I'm going to get you to explore those feelings, and if you're happy with that, then we'll proceed.
Okay.
So if you close your eyes and really relax and go back to that time when you felt the energy, the strength, the willpower, the focus, the positive, and you're running well. Go back to that time when you're running with energy and strength and willpower, focus and positive, and really experience it like it's happening in the here and now. Fully experience that time like it's happening in the here and now. Okay? And just gradually come back in your own time, in your own pace. Is that the right resource?
Yeah, I shifted it slightly. It was after I encountered Tony the Fridge and I realised I could do it.
Okay.
And that was between probably miles 8 and 11
Okay.
of the Great North Runs, and I really felt that I was doing really well.
So between 8 and 11 miles at this North Run, you saw Tony the Fridge, and you
I saw him at about 8 miles, and
8
at
miles.
that point running up to him, I was feeling like giving up. And,
Okay.
then I saw him,
Yeah.
and it shaped my resolve to actually think, yes, I can do this.
Yeah.
So I had in my mind then that I can do this, I've got enough to be doing it if he can do it with a fridge on his back. And once I'd run past him, I managed to keep going and kept momentum going, and I felt okay.
Okay. Brilliant.
And I
Brilliant.
felt pretty good actually.
And you're happy with that?
Yeah.
That's the resource you want?
Yeah.
So it's important that we guide and facilitate the client to decide what resource is right for them. So go back to a time when you felt those feelings. And throughout the exercise, it may be that they go to different times as well. When we start connecting the anchor, they might not always go back to that time. They might find unconsciously other times, and that's fine too, as long as it's appropriate to them. Now let's decide on an anchor. What's something that you could do, Nina, a kinesthetic anchor? Like I mentioned earlier, some people the wristband, some people flicker the switch, the thumb and finger. What's something that you could do when you get to that point that you could just press like a light switch to turn it on?
I guess it's going to have to be something with my hands, because you don't want to be doing anything. It's maybe pinch between there, because then I'm using both hands, because normally you're running like that, so if I actually did that, I'm consciously thinking of anchoring.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. And you can always change it if they're not happy with that. But what I would do, and what I generally do, I get them to think, and just give them time to think about it. If they need time to think about what's right in their world, because if we sort of, I mean, you can make suggestions, okay, wristband, thumb, finger, whatever, really, but ultimately it's got to come from the client, because if it's coming from us, then it's not going to be as effective. They've got to be comfortable and congruent. It's going to work for them. So you're happy with that? That's
yeah, because it's something I wouldn't do normally, so it would consciously make me think.
And some people do things that they do normally as well. I mean, sometimes people will do something they normally do because that's a connection. I mean, people might, for example, might putting their shoe on.
Yeah,
and that might be an anchor. So it doesn't have to be something that you wouldn't normally do. Sometimes something that you normally do, you're going to do anyway, is quite useful too. You know, a cricket player I work with, when he fastens his glove, footballer's tapping on the foot, maybe something he wouldn't normally do, that's breaking his state. So it could be something they normally do, but then again, it's entirely up to them. They've got to be happy with it.
I think it's because I'm thinking that if I'm mid-run, because if I'm going to feel this mid-run, I want it to be something simple and straightforward that would make me think a bit. Let
yourself go. Now you go back to that time. Go back to that time where you felt those resources. You mentioned it was the Great North Run. You're 8 miles into the Great North Run. You can see Tony the Fridge. And notice how you feel, what you think, and fully engage in those thoughts and feelings. Fully engage that time and re-experience all those thoughts and feelings. Notice what you see, what you hear, what you feel, where you are, what's going on. Really experience those feelings like it's the here and now. When you're at 9 on a scale of 1 to 10, just press your anchor and hold. Okay. And just gradually releasing, and come back to here and now in your own time and pace. And we break state in between the time that we stack the anchor. An easy way to do that is to change the subject, or alternatively, in the group when you practice, you could ask the person you're working with, what's your phone number backwards? And they'll basically scramble their mind, and they won't carry those thoughts and feelings over. We'll do it 3 times. The more you do it, the more powerful it becomes. I mentioned earlier, the song scenario sometimes only takes that once, if it's powerful enough to build a connection. So once again, just really relax and let yourself go, and go back to that time, or a time you felt those resources, and fully engage in that moment. Notice what you see, what you feel, what you hear, the colours, the sounds. I want you to really experience the moment like it's happening in the here and now. When on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being high, you're at 9. Just press your anchor and hold. Okay, and just gradually releasing and coming back now. Okay, you'll note that time I didn't mention the Great North Run, 8 Mile to 11, and Tony the Fridge. The reason being, I wasn't sure if Nina was going to go back there. She might have gone back somewhere else where she had same resources. And I didn't want to influence the outcome. Did you go back there?
I did went to the same place.
You went to the same place?
Yeah.
Which is fine.
But I heard the band playing this time.
Okay. Yeah. The band, the fridge. We've got to get the band at the Manchester. We've got to get Tony the Fridge back. We've got to find this band.
I even run past him and said, "Well done, Tony."
Okay.
Which I did do in real life.
Okay. And we'll experience it again. So once again, so we really relax, we close our eyes. Okay. And fully engage in that experience again. Really go back to that time when you experience those feelings. Remember where you are, what it feels like, what you see, what you hear, what you feel, what it's like to be in that situation. Really experience the feelings. Relive the situation like it's happening in the here and now. Notice what you see, what you hear, what you feel. Really relive the situation like it's happening in the here and now. And when you're at that peak intensity, or getting towards that peak intensity, just press your anchor and hold. And gradually release. Okay. Did anyone notice physiologically any changes in the massive change physiologically? Massive change when she associated to the feeling.
Did I sit up straight up?
Yeah, you really, it was like you were there. We could almost hear the band. You could see Tony the Fridge.
Well, this time I was approached the leukemia and lymphoma stand and they were going, "Come on, Nina."
There we go. It's all there. We've got to get them to come across too. So we were creating all those thoughts and feelings. Unconsciously, they're all there. And see, the unconscious mind is very, very powerful when you go back there. They're all there. It's just finding the pin code to get there and revisit the feelings. What we would do after is test the anchor. And the best way to test the anchor is you would ask the person, okay, when you press your anchor, is there a connection building? So I get you to just test.
Do it now.
Yeah, just test it. Is there a connection starting to build?
Yeah, I feel myself going straighter. I can feel it building up.
Brilliant.
And I do feel a bit stronger, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the important thing. Test the anchor. If the person says there is no neurological connection, ask them 2 things. Is it the appropriate resource? And if they say, yeah, it is the appropriate resource, get them to explore another time, possibly, and just do the process again. If they find the right resource and it's intense enough, it will connect. Just like it connected for Nina there, or is connecting. And then you could go away and practice as well when you get the right resource, and that's important. Finally, what we will do, in an ideal situation, we would recreate the feelings and recreate the environment as much as we could do. So whenever I run the sports course, for example, I'll take people into the environment they're in. So if we've got a golfer, I'll take them to the environment of golf and we'll press the anchor and see if it's making a difference. Or football, practice a free kick. If you don't have the opportunity because they're coming to see you for a session, then you can future pace mentally in their mind. Ideally, if it's possible, recreate the environment, see what happens. If you can't do that, then future pace. And all future pacing is mental rehearsal. Guide them to the time they need the anchor, get them to press the anchor, see what's happening, see if it's working for them. Test it, see how it goes. So I'm going to future pace you, unless you want to go running outside.
I'll go for a run tonight, I'll tell you tomorrow.
Yeah. We can all join Nina tonight in a run, and we'll see if it's working.
When you say recreate the environment, is it recreating
The scenario,
the
yeah.
scenario that
Yeah.
it has, or the scenario that you want?
Where you want to do the
So it's
anchor,
a
yeah.
future one rather than the one in the past.
No, the future one, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, you guys were training someone to do an interview.
Yeah.
It was not possible to get the boss who's going to do the interviewing. And what you could make a mental rehearsal.
Yeah.
Get them to like visually, you guys, with a role play, become the people who are interviewing. The
Yeah.
person walks in and they press the anchor. As much as you could do. And then maybe you could take it one step further and get them to visualise the person they're going to see and meet. It's just getting it as close as you can as possible, which is important. But obviously, we don't always live in an ideal world. It's not always easy to set something up like that. And if it's not, then just use the mind, which we'll do now. So if you really relax and just close your eyes, and think of a time when you're going to go for a run. Think of a time in the future when you're going for this run. Okay, and just imagine yourself setting off for the run. Okay, you got a time when in mind when you're going to go for a run. Okay, and just visualize yourself and think about going for the run. And think about as you're going for this run, your thoughts and feelings. And just press your anchor when you think it's appropriate. Okay, and notice how you feel having pressed your anchor. So, you were going for that run. You reached the point in that run where you felt you used the anchor. And what did it feel like when you pressed the anchor?
I felt stronger.
Yeah.
So I did feel that feeling I had when I tested it before, where it's like a warm feeling inside and it just made me feel really strong.
Brilliant.
It was almost like I had a powerhouse in here.
Yeah. Because you're recreating those feelings.
Yeah.